Hello, everyone. I'm Brigantia Blackbird of the Blackbird Grimoire, and welcome to the daily forecast for Thursday, August 1st, 2024. It is the day of the Hearthkeeper and Tradesman, and you'll notice that there are a few other little tweaks that I've been making to these daily forecast presentations. I'm wanting to make the concepts and the energies and the archetypes associated with each day just a little bit more immediate and real and in front of our faces. So because of today's very practical kinds of energies, I'm focusing on those who are keeping the home and all of the professions that enable a person to have a home to begin with. Also, you will notice that I have other adjustments. Since it's Thursday, that means it is Thor's Day and Jupiter's Day. Thor, because Thursday is literally Thor's day, and then Jupiter, because that is the planet that this particular day of the week is associated with. And then also, I thought I would incorporate a little bit of dating from more pagan centric calendars. That would make August 1st today the 11th of Leo, the 25th of the Celtic tree month of Holly, the 11th of Salmon, and the 7th of Heanir, which translates to haymaking. This is an Icelandic calendar. There's a 100% chance I'm going to be mispronouncing and butchering all of the names. Please bear with me. I will endeavor to make what improvements that I can. But I wanted to toss that out there just because when we look at things from that more pagan calendar type of perspective, I think it goes an awful long way towards reorienting our minds and making us realize that our ancestors, the way they arranged their calendars, just their worldview, it was a lot more in sync with the energies that are present at a particular time. So it's just one of those things that I thought might help us all. So moving on. It is, of course, today Lughnasadh. It is also Freyfraxi. So may everyone's first fruits be abundant. I hope you have lots of fun offerings today, from freshly baked breads, hearty beers, if you're making mixed berry cobblers, if you have fresh gardens and fruits from the vegetable that you've made yourself, whatever it is, I hope that they are very well received during your rituals today. Of course, this is also the day for blessings, blessing the fields in hopes of having a successful harvest, of safeguarding the livestock, and of course, all food preservation activities. We're starting to get into sabbats that are, kind of working holidays, if you will. Yes, there's, great joviality, there's enjoyment, there's lots of fun things to be doing, and we should be doing all of those things. But, we have also got a few other practical matters to attend to. But, if you make it fun, if you make it as part of your traditions, then I don't think it'll feel like, I'm having to do all this canning, I'm having to do this, I'm having to do that. No, it'll be, this is the most awesome magical day of the year to where I could be doing this. And because of that, not only will my food turn out better, but also I'm inviting better energy into the household. And then on the more fun side of things, games, competition, music, singing, dance, crafting fairs. This is one of those holidays that I think would really benefit if pagans who live nearby to one another just started making a practice of celebrating it and marking the occasion. And the reason why I think this in particular would be a really fun community activity is just because it's all about, look what I can do, look what I have made, look what I have crafted. I'm showing you the results of all of my hard work. I have something to give. And of course, in addition to getting admiration and appreciation for your work, it's also an opportunity to also give other people appreciation and admiration. And so I think this is a holiday that we could use to improve our relationships throughout our communities. Now, speaking of showing off work, if you follow me on Twitter, Twix, X, you know that this has been coming. It is my Lughnasadh gift to all of my pagan brothers and sisters. It is the Oak and Elder Witchery. Its grand opening is today, where you will find good company amongst other pagans and witches, educational resources, an opportunity to share your experience, listen to other people's experience, form friendships, hopefully. There is a link in the description box. Now, it's not as prepared as what I would have liked it to be. My original plan was to open this up in October. And originally my plan was for it to just kind of be for witches and wizards. But in lieu of recent current events that seem to grow more deranged by the day, and by the time this posts, I'm recording this in July, but when this posts on August 1st, there's a lot of life that could be happening between now and then. So who knows what situation we'll be in. And so because of that, I decided let's go ahead and open it up early. If you see categories or channels, you will find that there are things already posted there to kind of get the swapping information and educational resources going. But also it's something that's going to be built upon because again, I was planning on having 2 more months to get this ready, but ready or not, here we come. And also, I just think it'd be better if more of the community was welcomed in, because things are odd right now, and the spiritual awakening that many of us have been experiencing since Neptune went into retrograde, of just kind of, I don't want to say doubling down on our practices, but coming to deeper, more meaningful understandings of what we believe and refining what it is that we do. We are not the only people who are experiencing that energy. There's also a lot of Christians out there, members of other faiths, who are getting a bit rowdy. And of course, that can get a bit much for our nerves. And so I think it is nice to be able to have a place we can retreat to. You will have to create a Gilded account if you don't already have one. That really isn't any kind of a big deal. Again, just follow the link in the description box. It'll take you to us. And then you'll be able to get to know other people and just have some good conversations. So looking forward to that. And I do hope that you all will join me there. So let's talk a little bit about astrology. Today, the sun is in Leo. It is a fixed fire sign. It represents achievement. The moon is fourth quarter Cancer, cardinal water, which represents growth. Mercury is in Virgo, mutable earth, which is about efficiency. Venus is in Leo, a fixed fire sign, to be ardent. Mars is in Gemini, mutable air, representing to be pugnacious. Jupiter is in Gemini, mutable air, representing questing. Saturn is retrograding in Pisces, mutable water, which means to redefine dreams. Uranus is in Taurus, fixed earth, which represents renovation. Neptune is retrograding in Pisces, mutable water, which is, again, that spiritual awakening I mentioned a moment ago. And Pluto is retrograding in Aquarius, fixed air, which means we need to examine our intentions. So for the planetary retrogrades, as you can see, I have kind of simplified the mantras because they were getting a bit unwieldy. For the Saturn retrograde, the idea that really stands out to me is reclaiming your authority. In essence, you are in charge of your life. It's time to start acting accordingly. And if people don't care for that, well, I guess it sucks to be them. But absolutely reclaim that which is yours to actually control and to wield, and that is your life. Then Neptune retrograde, that's about reclaiming faith, joy, magic, and imagination. You see how this is all about not just having more information about our spiritual paths or better understanding, but it's about living it. It's about it really being the way we look at the world, about the symbols we study, about seeing them reflected in nature, seeing them reflected in human architecture and everything that we do. It is about it going so deep within our souls that it is inseparable. And I think that kind of refreshment, that kind of awakening, and that kind of fun is something that perhaps we've been lacking in recent years, and now we can fix that. And then the Pluto retrograde, it's reclaim your ability to regenerate. The past couple of years, it's felt like just pummel, one blow right after the other. And no sooner do you recover from one thing than something else is happening. And if you follow the news, it's just that much worse. And so a lot of people, I do feel like, have come to what they feel is the end of their ropes. And that's not a fun place to be. But if you can regenerate, if you can say, well, the way I've coped with this up until now, that's not going to cut it anymore. The way that I thought the world is, apparently that's not really the case. But I can take in information, I can accept it, I can let go of the burdens of how I think things ought to be, and then I can regenerate, I can renew, I can replenish my spirit, and then I'll be in a better position to go forward in life and to be able to deal with things as they are, rather than how I wish they would be, or rather than how I fear they might be. Just dealing with what is and playing one's role in the greater scheme of things. That is the kind of regeneration that this Pluto retrograde is offering us an opportunity to create for ourselves. And then for the Chiron retrograde, restore the heroic spirit. There's a great need for heroism. And you see, whenever there is a shining moment of heroism, with the recent assassination attempt on President Trump, when he got up, threw his fist in the air and said, "Fight, fight, fight." That was a manifestation of the heroic spirit. It was saying, I am not going to let this get me down. I'm not going to fall apart. I'm not going to let the people around me fall apart. We're going to be brave. We're going to confront our troubles, and we're going to deal with what is in front of us. That is the kind of spirit. And that's really why people, even if they, completely disagree with him on politics, in that moment, they're like, that was an amazing thing to see. And that it doesn't have to be, a larger than life public figure who has the heroic spirit. You and I can cultivate that as well. And there's no reason why we shouldn't, especially given the challenges we face. Sometimes believing in ourselves, it makes it just that much easier for us to rise to the occasion when called for. Now the moon phase. The moon phase is the waxing crescent. So, that really should be a waning crescent. I misspelled that. My apologies. Bad Brigantia. Proofread. I promise you guys, if I'm ever rich, a proofreader is the first person I would hire. But it is a waning crescent, and so this is about resting, reflection, and contemplation. And I think this goes very well with the spirit of a Lughnasadh first thing. So, even though we're getting to the busy harvest season, we are coming to the end of a lot of our physical labors when it comes to gardening and so forth. It is a time to reflect upon what we have wrought, to contemplate what we want to do next, to rest when we get an opportunity to. It's about things coming down to that end. So I think this is actually a very fitting moon phase for today. And then for the Cancer moon, again, it's going right along with the fact that it is Thursday and a lot of the spirit of Lughnasadh. The do's are work from home, family bonds, nurture friends. It's all very community, people, relationships oriented. The don'ts are publicity, objectivity, and emotionalism. So it isn't about the outside world today, is it? It's about the interior world. It's about the world of the people comprised of who we actually care about. It's about the people immediately around us. It's about the celebration of what we can do when we have decided to. So this is just tying together really beautifully, in my opinion. And again, Day of Jupiter, very fitting for Lughnasadh to occur on a Thursday this year. We're celebrating the harvest, our agricultural gods, our blessings, our talents, and that perfectly aligns with the Gemini Jupiter and the Cancer moon. This really is a time to knit ourselves together with loved ones and community. And as much as Jupiter wants to be questing, that adventure spirit, it just isn't necessarily always have to be focused on the external. It can be the exciting prospect of actually forming deeper human relationships. Think how atomized people are. Think how alone people have been. And think about how, with all of our technology, it has really drug us further apart from each other. So the great adventure before us, it's not about, I'm going to find out what it's like halfway around the world. It's like, maybe I need to find out what it's really like inside of my own house. Maybe I need to find out what it's like with my next door neighbor, the people I work with, my book club at the local library, whatever it is. And focusing our attention on them, getting to know them, which can be very exciting to do, and just coming together in a meaningful way. So for our tarot of the day, as you can see, we have switched up decks yet again. This is the Dreaming Way Tarot. It's by Rome Choi. I believe I used this earlier in the year. I can't quite remember, but I think I did. So if this art style looks familiar to you, that would be why. Today's card is the Hierophant. He comes from the Major Arcana. He has number 5 in that. And then this deck also ties in a lot of numerology with what it does. And this deck 5 was really all about challenges, imbalances, things that have to be dealt with. His keywords are lessons, rituals, doctrine, marriage, traditional relationships, customs, matchmaking, having wisdom but no official power. This also seems to really resonate with a lot of the themes of Lughnasadh, because a lot of marriages, or at least engagements of a year and a day, they used to be solemnized and consummated during Lughnasadh. It was a time of great celebration, because there was always the symbolic funerary games in honor of Lu's foster mother, Tialtu, who, she prepared the island of Ireland for raising the crops. She cleared it all up, died of exhaustion, and then everything else that came about in celebration was in her honor, because representing that sacrifice of giving her all so that the land could grow things and life could be sustained. That's a pretty important thing to be celebrating. And with the traditional relationships, again, that's going to this idea of being more family oriented, being more oriented towards our marriages, towards our friends, towards our community, people of like mind, not people who we share every opinion with, as if such a thing is possible, but people who, we look around at them and like saying, we all basically want the same kind of world, and forging relationships on that basis and forming even alliances on that basis. That's really what the Hierophant is representing. And of course, in a spiritual capacity, anyone who's in the role of priestly duties of any kind. This is a card that requires deep contemplation, because there is a role to fulfill. It matters about how you're talking in public. I mean, yes, we feel our feelings and we have to deal with them, but what kind of energy are we putting out into the air? Because that kind of energy, that's going to play a major role in how things shape up, especially if it's going along with a greater current. So we do have to be mindful of that. And one thing I thought about when I looked at this card was that spiritual leadership is about moral soundness and dispensing practical wisdom, not just having theories that sound good, but having ideas that actually work in practice. Now for today's Celtic triad, three who ought not to be invited to a house: a flattering deceiver, a scornful mocker, and an envious traitor. So the flattering deceiver, insincerity prevents any possibility of being on honest footing with anybody else. So of course you don't want them taking up space you require for other purposes. And then scornful mockers. Humor can be very cruel, and it can be used to destroy people, and that's how some people decide to be. Why do you want them in your social circle? And then the envious traitor. Isn't it interesting how envy and betrayal often go hand in hand? It's that desire of, I want what I want and I will get it at any cost, and it doesn't matter if it belonged to someone else first, and it doesn't matter if I didn't do anything to earn it. That sort of thing. It is the soil for corruption. Now, today's magical correspondences, they center around the theme of agriculture, because it's Lughnasadh. What else would we be talking about today? For this, the color is the green, the plant is the wheat for obvious reasons, the animal is the dog, no farm, and honestly, very few homes are complete without a dog, and the crystal I chose was green jasper. The harvest season reminds all of us about the absolute necessity of farming. There is no technological substitute, no matter what some of those mad scientists would have us believe. And just as a reminder, the fate of the land is our fate as well. So, not to bring a downer on that, but just to say we need to, we should probably focus more upon agricultural deities and deities that have associations with the professions that sustain and enable life. So for today's practice, what deities best represent this idea of a hearthkeeper and a tradesman to you? You see, I have pictures of them over there, all courtesy of Pinterest, of course. And it is the work of the hearthkeeper and the tradesman that actually makes the world turn. Everything else could be dispensed with. You can get along without it to various degrees, but you've got to have people who actually make a home functional and are able to bring resources into that home in order for it to function. And these things absolutely go hand in hand. So what gods really represent that kind of a relationship to you? I mean, and they may not even be of the same pantheon. So I'd be actually interested in hearing about that in the comments if you decide to share. And so we are moving away from our constant focus on astrological natal signs and also our chakra work. We are going to look into first the Hermetic 7 Hermetic principles, and we're beginning with the Hermetic principle of rhythm. And then meditate on the north wall, which represents the earth element of the witch's pyramid. And then it is the first of the month, so New Year's resolution checkup. How you doing on this day of the first of the harvest? How are you doing with the intentions you set back in January? Where are you at with that? And then, of course, celebrate Lughnasadh. And there's so many different ways you can be doing that. And if you need any kind of last-minute inspiration, I do have an entire category of channels based on the Wheel of the Year. There's one for Lughnasadh. And, of course, I also have ideas about simple ways to celebrate. So even if you may not be entirely prepared, but you want to do something, you might find something in that channel that could just that would suit you for today. And of course, you can prepare for the next holiday coming up, because I have info on that too. And other people will be adding their own 2 cents in that. So I think this will be a very helpful resource for us. Now, for the journal prompt today, what does Lughnasadh mean to you this year? What themes of the holiday are really jumping out to you? What deities are calling to you? Are those deities surprising? And what is the energy of the land where you live feeling like? What is all of that like? So lots to journal about today. And then that is what I have for you. Have a wonderful day. I have my socials here for you. Blackbird's Brew on X, then Blackbird Grimoire on YouTube and Rumble. A reminder that the description link is in the description for the Oak and Elder Witchery. And of course, if you ever want to reach out to me privately, you can email me at brigantiablackbird@protonmail.com. So hope to hear from you guys. Hope to see you at the Witchery. That's very exciting. I'm very curious about who might show up today. We will see. And just enjoy your day. It's Lughnasadh. We're getting to the harvest season. The next time we have a big celebration on the calendar, it will be autumn. So many of us have been waiting for that. And just let me know where you're at with everything, how you're feeling about everything. And do you like the switch up to these sunset colors as we are sunsetting the summer? Do you like the sunset of the slides? Do you like the sunset of the altar behind me? Let me know. Tell me what you're up to. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.